Memphis Mayor Paul Young here. As you know, we are a music city, and we have recently launched Memphis Music Live 365 days of live music in our great city. We know that we are the true music city, and I believe that it's time for us to live up to that pronouncement. And so I'm really honored to be here today with someone that is a scholar, a musician, and who is also the editor of the Memphis Flyer. I'm joined by Dr. Alex Greene for this month's Music Moment. Thank you for joining me, Alex.
Well, thank you for having me, Mayor Young. It's quite an honor.
I enjoyed getting to learn a little bit about you as we started and hearing that you've been a musician around town for many, many years. And from your perspective, can you tell me what makes Memphis a music city?
Well, there's so many aspects, but I think really it's the diversity and just that makes for a really eclectic mix of influences that I don't see in other cities as much. And I think that's going way back to the 19th century. I think that's why W.C. Handy came here, and I also think part of it, I grew up on a farm, and I think there's a great mix of the rural and the urban in Memphis that has really informed the music, whether it's like all the great artists coming up from the Mississippi Delta to play Beale, whether it's Memphis Minnie or Howlin' Wolf or what have you. It brings this mix of perspectives that you don't see in other cities, which are more just thoroughly urbanized,
No, I would agree with you wholeheartedly. And as someone who appreciates the music, and I don't have the artistic genes in me, however, I do have a full appreciation for music. And I feel like there's just something special in our music scene. I feel like there's a sense of soul and feeling and emotion that you feel when you are experiencing music in Memphis. And it could be on Beale Street or at a specific venue, but it also can simply be at church on Sunday morning. You can feel that same energy from people when they are performing and singing, and I think it's something that makes Memphis stand out when it comes to our music heritage.
I'm so glad you mentioned the church too, and I think especially the music of the Black church is such a vital gold mine here of musical inventiveness, and it always has been. And like you say, there's always been that kind of tension between the Saturday night versus Sunday morning, and you have that back and forth in all of Memphis music. There's a little blues and the gospel going on here.
No question.
There's a little gospel in the blues, as I learned when I used to play Beale Street with Earl the Pearl.
Yeah. So we get a lot of focus on our music history. We have a rich history with music, whether it's B.B. King and all of the blues that we feel on Beale Street, or Elvis Presley and the talent that he brought during his time period. But we also have a strong current music scene, musicians like yourselves and others who are still making great music, performing great music. What excites you about our current music scene?
Well, I think there's an amazing spirit of inventiveness. And, I think that's one reason we made history back in the day, too. There was a whole scene of people pursuing their individual visions, and they didn't really care about the trends. And I think that's still going on today. And, people don't know this as well as the history, but there's a great avant-garde music scene, brewing here of like free improvisation or electronica, synthesizers, mixed with samples, and people are just always mixing and matching here. And that's really more pronounced now than ever, I think. One thing I think that can really help boost that momentum of all the inventiveness going on now is this city initiative. So my hat's off to you and the city government for doing this. I've interviewed a lot of hip hop artists, and they have this kind of, I won't say beef necessarily, but kind of a issue with Atlanta getting a lot of credit for the Southern bounce, when really it was created here. And you talk to anyone from I Make Mad Beats to DJ Squeaky, all generations, they see that and they say, well, in Atlanta, the music is supported. But now I see that changing here, so I think an embrace of music in Memphis is going to make a huge difference. I'm just curious how you see Music Live 365 and, what the future of this program is.
Yeah, to me, it is us leaning into our strengths to support our future. A lot of times as a city, you start working to address your challenges and you put your energy into making those things that are not going the way we would like them to go better. Things like public safety. But the way that you truly elevate a city, a community, is to lean into the areas where you have a strength, where you have a natural competitive advantage. And I feel like in Memphis, we have a natural competitive advantage. Someone said this to me, and I thought it was pretty profound. They said, for the size of the city of Memphis, we have an outsized impact on music culture, meaning that for the city of our size, we participate in the music culture as a city like New York, or a much, much bigger city, because of the level of talent that comes out of here. And I think it's important for us to use that to our advantage to chart the path for our future. I know of so many artists that are from Memphis, that love Memphis, that would be in Memphis if they felt that they could truly live out their dream while still living here. But they feel that they must go to one of these larger cities because they have larger music ecosystems. And I think that it's important that we begin to build up that infrastructure, that means the business side, so that they're able to live here and still do their business. And we need to build up the number of opportunities that they have to display their talent, to show people their music. And with Memphis Music Live, it's us being intentional about encouraging different venues and places to highlight the talent that we have here. And it's an opportunity for us to show tourists that come here, residents that live here, the level of talent that we truly have. I feel like Memphis music should be playing everywhere we go, in hotel lobbies, in restaurants, in venues, obviously, for nightlife. The more we highlight that talent, I feel like the more we're going to attract people to our great city.
I think you're absolutely right. I think especially the focus on live music. I mean, there's so much canned music in our lives now, but the talent here is amazing. Coming out of the public school system and places like the Stax Music Academy or the churches, all of those are these huge developers of talent, and it just it makes sense to lean into that.
Yeah, I mean, even in the retail industry, what the retail industry is moving more towards are experiences. People will pay for experiences. They will come out of the house for experiences, and music allows us to provide people with a unique experience that they wouldn't otherwise have. Of course, you can push play on, YouTube or your streaming service and hear whatever song you want to hear, but it's nothing like being able to experience someone doing it live. And so I think that it's going to be something that allows us as a city to stand out, and I'm really, really excited about what the team is doing. And I just want to give a shout out to our Office of Cultural and Creative Economy, because it's important that we coordinate this for the whole ecosystem of music for our great city.